What's up, everyone? I'm Axel of AxeTruth.com, and this is where I cut through the bullshit. Now, this video is old. I saw this actually, I think about a year ago, and I was going to do a content piece on it, and I hadn't done it, and now it's going viral once again. We're living in a time, before we get into it, all video, sound, and music used during this broadcast falls under fair use. Fair use is allowed for the purpose of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe on copyright under 17 USC 107. Now, what we have going on here in this country, you know, we hear every day about racism and white supremacy and how racist the country is. It's so racist. You know, black people are under so much pressure from racists and whitey. You know, we gotta blame whitey. You know, blame whitey for everything. And it's just a constant drumbeat of this. And the sad part about this, you know, with this blame whitey, and whitey is the cause of all your problems, and white people are bad, and white people are the enemy, it's being engineered. This is being engineered. It's not real. The people that say it don't believe it. They say it because they don't have anything else to talk about. They have a racial inferiority complex. They have been beat down through media, social engineering, by the same people who are engineering this anti-whiteism, to have the low self-esteem that they have, to have the fake pride in their color, in their skin color, in their melanin. It's fake. Because if they were really proud, really proud people, they wouldn't be begging, and they definitely wouldn't be blaming and complaining all the fucking time. They will be building things. See, this video, I'm going to cut through this bullshit. And anyone who wants to dispute me, I welcome that. Come with facts and not your feelings. Because this is disgusting, what I've been seeing. And this has been going on, this anti-whiteism been going on for heavily. It got turned up very high started in 2016, 2017. They started ramping it up. And we know who the they are, Rhymes with News. And I'm going to show you proof of that. See, I'm not going to say it and then don't say, you know, and it is. The synagogue of Satan. See, their whole thing is divide and conquer. Keep us divided, keep us at each other. And the sad part about this is that the American shine, the blacks, you know, the oppressed, they're just so dumb. They don't even realize you're useful idiots in this game that they're playing on all of us. You're up here talking about nonsense instead of worrying about the real things that are happening, what possibly can happen in this country, the depression that's coming, food shortages that are coming, and whatever else they're going to do to us while you're sitting around talking about your skin color. Really sad. You can't build anything on skin color. You can't make anything with skin color. The fuck? I just don't understand this skin color obsession and idolatry that black people have. That is a demonic spirit. It really is. But let's get into it. We have this video, and you know, the video is, well, the question was asked, what are whites good at? And you have to look at this video. We're going to look at it. And you look at these, a lot of these. The first woman in there, morbidly obese. The last person that need to be talking about anything. What we know she's good at is eating and not putting the fork down. She has no self-control. And you're going to see a lot of overweight women in this video. And then you see a bunch of stepping fetchits. And I mean, I can't say, I really believe these are actors. I really do. I think all of them are actors. These people don't even believe what they're saying. They're reading a script or whatever was told by whomever put this together and put it for the cut. Here it is.
What are white people superior at?
What exactly are white people superior at?
They're real good at violence.
Violence. Genocide. It's like stealing people's lives just because they feel like it.
If you are white and you know this is happening and you say nothing, then you're a killer too.
What exactly are white people superior at?
Insecurity? Pretending?
Fear.
Being fearful of nothing.
Being ignorant.
Blame.
Letting their egos control their every move. Superior at being dicks.
What exactly are white people superior at?
Projection.
Oppression?
Gaslighting.
Lack of empathy.
Intellectualizing oppression.
Did I say oppression?
What exactly are white people superior at?
Taking what's not there. Taking shit.
Taking our ideas.
Oh yeah.
Gentrification.
Appropriating things that do not
Copying
belong to them.
all y'all
Taking
shit.
over other people's cultures and making you believe that they invented it.
Maybe they're
I had to stop it there because it's just so crazy. All this projection, taking over their cultures and what culture are you talking about? Nobody wants to be. Black culture is not something that people want, or what you guys call, or what you have been engineered to assume that is black culture. There's nothing good about it. It doesn't exalt anything. I mean, oh good gracious, this is crazy.
Again, as repurposing. It's like recycle and repurpose.
As my grandma would say, them white folk, they'll take it if you don't copyright it.
They are very good at destruction of land, destruction of people, destruction of humanness.
Republican, whether you're Democrat, whether you're conservative, like white people are really good at upholding white supremacy.
How about claiming that, they are actually a whole separate race, when actually white DNA comes from the black female?
So what exactly are white people superior at?
Honey, lying, stealing, and cheating.
Manipulation.
Withholding information.
Lying?
Telling lies. What are white people?
Nobody tells more lies than black people. See, this is all projection. So I don't know who wrote this. Maybe if it's real, if these are real people and they think like that, it's very sad because they're just projecting their insecurities and what's wrong with them. They said violence. No, who do we see being more violent than anyone in the world in America? There's video footage of this every day in and day out of violence. Black women, black girls fighting, black men fighting, shooting, killing. Every day. It's here. So don't give me that everybody does it, because here it is. Because, they always like to go there and say, white people kill too. No, black people kill commit over 50% of the homicides in this country, and they're less than 13% of the population. Here's the murders right here. This is what black people are good at right here. You see that? Murders, offenders, perpetrators. Black African Americans, 7,000. Let's go to the total. The total is 14,000 for the year. 14,981, and the number of perpetrators for murder offenders are 7,875 that are black. They combine the white and Hispanic together. Why do they do that, I wonder? It's just why don't they just separate that out too? But they put white and Hispanic together, and it's only 4,000. So 60% of the murders in this country belongs to the less than 13%. And they have the audacity to have a video up like this talking about white people are violent. Now look at this, the murder victims. The total in murder victims for the year of 2021 was 14,698. Of that, the victims were 8,000. More than half of the victims were black. Of that black, the perpetrators were 60%. So, you look at the 60% of perpetrators of murder offenders, and the majority of the people that are being killed in murder are black. And they're killed by black. But yet, white people is the problem. They're being they're being engineered. This is racism being engineered. Anti-whiteism. And why is that? Why are they doing that? More divide and conquer, because they don't want whites and black people. They don't want whites and blacks to get along, because if white and black people get along and start talking, they'll start figuring out who's behind a lot of this crap. And the Kanye West, and even though he's right about what he's saying, he's telling the truth. There's no lies in what he's saying. This is being engineered by these people. Look at this article. Abolishing whiteness has never been more urgent. Noel Eguative, which who that is, showed us how. This is written by Mark Levin. Is there any questions? I think I made my point. Who's behind this engineering? The race. We, the American people, are not each other's enemies. The enemies are those people behind the curtain, jerking everybody's chains and trying to divide us up by age, by race, by income, sexual, and I can add to it sexual orientation, gender, anything else. The man behind the curtain, the people behind the curtain, pulling the strings. The Levins of the world. See, I like to have these things just to show, and this is so disgusting when you see a video like this around where these black people are saying all these awful things about white people, which they don't know, which they don't believe. Because I'm gonna go deep. I'm gonna really go deep now and call out some real shit here to all you pro-blacks, anti-white, white people blame white people, white supremacy all the time. Let me just say this. You Negroes, go sit down with your dishonest. You're so dishonest, and it's ridiculous at this point to watch Negroes who claim to be so educated and to be falling for this mess, to be saying any of this crap. Because everything you do, everything you have, everything that you rely on was created by the white man. You wouldn't survive without the white man. If you were so great and so could do so many things and have so many ideas, why is Africa the way it is? Don't say someone pillaged and took all their resources. That's a fucking lie. If it wasn't for the white man going down there, even helping them in a little bit, whatever they did down there, they still hadn't pulled it together since then. Why haven't they pulled it together? Why don't have good plumbing, running water? Why don't have that? Just the basic shit that everything in the West we have. Now, I'm going to read some comments here underneath this post. And when this one man says, and what he wrote here, he said, every one of these white-hating pukes are using everything we invented. Just what I said. From their cars, planes, trains, computers, etc., etc. They would be running from lions in Africa if it wasn't for whites. There would be no civilization. They have been spoiled by white inventions. He's right. As hard as it to hear, for black people to hear, you guys, you're not doing anything. You're not building anything. You're not making anything. All I see with black people is complaining, whining, begging. So one person put in here the entire cast of Gimme Dats on this video. They have never built anything, been wards of the state, and blame Whitey for all their shortcomings and fuck ups in their lives. He said, "Fuck them all." I mean, the sentiment I can see of some of these people, white people saying this. I agree. They have every right to say this. Because we need more black people speaking up against this anti-whiteism and this garbage, this propaganda, these lies that are being pushed on a group of people that are, I guess, either so low IQ they don't see how they're being used. They're being exploited. Could you imagine if this was white people sitting here talking about what good things are black people good at? Violence, killing, stealing, lying, culturally appropriating white people, white women. Let me hit the black women's, putting in all this hair that's not your hair texture, gluing it in, sewing it in, capping it on, putting in colored contact lenses, going to get nose jobs and everything else to emulate what? A European. And then, in the video, the woman said, white people came from black women. As if that, if any of that is true, if y'all are Mother Earth, so what is Mother Earth doing today? What has it gotten you? What have you built and what have you created? All you're doing is complaining, whining, and crying and talking about racism and the waste is that and the waste is that. That's not going to get you anywhere. Go build something and make your own things. Sustain yourself. Do for self. Stop relying on others. I remember back when that hurricane that hit Houston a few years ago. I can't think of the name of it, but it was a bad hurricane and a lot of people were stranded. So I'm going into another part of this video. And then I'm going to show another example of something where Whitey helped Blackie. Well, Whitey helped Blackie during this bad I think it was Hurricane, I can't think of the name of it, but it was in Houston about 3 or 4 years ago. It was a bad hurricane. And a lot of people were stranded. And those white boys in those big old trucks and had their platoon boats out there saving lives. Saving those black lives. It was those white people that had the equipment to come in on boats and save people from flooding areas. And a lot of those women were severely overweight. See, now we're going to go to weight. The old Lizzo culture that they're perpetrating around here as healthy and the new body positivity. They're selling overweight to black women as normal. And now I'm not saying that white women are not overweight either, but everybody knows the deal. Black women are severely overweight. And the sad part about it, when they hear this, they get mad and upset instead of understanding the health implications and the life-saving implications that has to do with this. When you're so overweight to where if you're in a position where you are stranded and need to be pulled out or lifted, if the manpower is not there to do it, you're stuck like Chuck. Have you ever thought about that? As a people, a lot of the women are bigger than their men. The men are weak. They have no strength. There's a problem. Serious problems going on with the black community. And y'all are not focused on it at all, trying to fix it. You're too busy trying to blame Whitey for all your problems. Talking about white supremacy and reparations and dumb shit like that. But when that hurricane hit there, it was a lot of white people. It was white people out there saving lives and saving people. What they saw was people stranded. They didn't see a color. They were not here saying, I'm going to go save this black person. They were saving people, saving lives. That's the problem with black people. You see everything as color instead of seeing people as just people. We need people. We need each other. We're all in the same fucking boat. Now here we have in this story, before I close out this video, 2 kids that were being abused, handcuffed, And I'm showing this in this video because of the fact that it wasn't, they escaped their abusers and they were looking for help. And it wasn't a black person that helped them, it was a white person. They went to a door. I saw another newscast of it. They went to the door of another man, and the man looked out. He was black. And them kids were saying, we need some help. And it was cold outside, and they were barely dressed. But that man said, you got to go somewhere else. He wouldn't help them. He was scared. He didn't know. And the thing is, and I'm bringing this up because of the fact that we know a lot of these home invasions and crimes and stuff, we know who's committing them. We know they're young kids doing it. And now you have a situation where these are kids that are in dire straits and they need help. Nobody wants to help them because they're not sure if these people are for real. They're scared and frightened because of the crime and everything we've seen. Is it racist? If a white person look out and say, no, I'm not going to get involved. I don't know what this is. But this was a black man who didn't even told him to go somewhere else or something. He'll call the police or whatever, but he wasn't going to let him in, wasn't going to do anything like that. But here's the story.
Video shows the twins going to a neighbor's home early yesterday morning, begging for help. Police soon got involved, and that's when the twins' mother and her boyfriend fled with their 5 other children, sparking that Amber Alert. They were all later located near Baton Rouge.
Law enforcement said the teens were being held captive. Now they're in the hospital receiving care. ABC 13's Micah Hatfield sat down with a woman who called police and got them help.
Gina and Eric, after these teens removed their handcuffs and escaped from their home, police say they went door to door looking for help. It was early in the morning, so a knock on the door was likely startling for many. But one woman answered that cry for help. As a result, the handcuffs are now switching wrists. They're going from these teens to the mother and her boyfriend. I'm told they're supposed to be brought back here to the Harris County Jail tomorrow from Baton Rouge. A bizarre knock on the door at 5:30 a.m. Tuesday morning in Cypress. One many people didn't answer, some out of fright, but one woman did. The Precinct 5 Constable's office says the twin 16-year-olds escaped their home in the Marvita neighborhood, where they had been held prisoner in handcuffs in their laundry room. No shoes, one not wearing a shirt. It was cold outside. They were desperate. This woman, who wants to remain anonymous for safety reasons, invited them in.
They were saying that they had just gotten here from Baton Rouge, I think they said, that they just moved here and that their mom didn't disclose the address to them, and so they didn't know where they lived.
She gave them blankets and food, which she says they ate every bit of. They told her they hadn't eaten in more than a week. The woman called police. In the meantime, she says the children opened up about the abuse they had endured at the hand of their mother, Zakiya Duncan, and her boyfriend, Jova Terrell, even telling her they had tried to escape the night before.
But she got caught, and her mom beat her, hit her in the head.
The woman, who's an ICU nurse, checked out their injuries and took these photos. Swollen hands, fresh cuts to their wrists and arms. She noticed scarring on their frail bodies as well. You'll notice the handcuffs sitting on the counter.
They complain about feeling stiff from being in just one position in the laundry room.
The woman is still trying to process everything. Duncan and her boyfriend both charged with injury to a child. The woman who helped save them is angry that it got to this extreme and that Duncan had custody of her children. Texas CPS said they had not been involved with the family before, but in Louisiana, where they had just moved from, the Department of Child and Family Services, according to court records, had been, even documenting past abuse.
Give these abusers life in prison, like murderers, because that's ultimately what it's going to lead to. And I bet crime would go down. Kids would not be abused because people would be afraid to go to prison for life.
At the Harris County Jail, Micah Hatfield, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
Just so horrible. Documents revealing that mom arrested in the case, Zakiya Duncan, has a history of child abuse. According to court records from East Baton Rouge, Duncan was previously charged with cruelty to a juvenile. An affidavit from 2012 shows that Duncan was investigated by the Department of Children and Family Services after her children were treated for bruising. The affidavit reveals a 5-year-old was also treated for burns and bruises across their body. Duncan got a lesser charge for taking parenting classes under probation requirements. Video shows the twin.
That's sad. I feel sorry for those kids. I have those children in my prayers, and I would suggest anyone to pray for those kids. Who knows what future they have for them? Now they're going to go into CPS services, and we know what that is. We know it's to go into the Child Protective Services under them. The trauma they're going to have to deal with the rest of their lives for what they went through there. Praise God for this woman who opened the door and gave them help, fed them, and she was a nurse, and she was able to look at their injuries. A white woman. We saw that. I think I made my point here when it comes to this anti-whiteism and all this white hate that we're seeing, that's just, and these black people that are so easy to jump on that when they know they're not even serious about it. They don't believe it. They don't believe it. That's just something for them to say because they hate themselves. They don't like themselves. They want to be white, obviously, or something like that. Envious of them because they have better outcomes. They have a value system. And in no way I'm not exalting white people saying they're the best ever, but guess what? They have better outcomes. And the things that that black people call white, being on time, being smart, speaking proper English, anything, and raising having a mother and father in the home, marrying, and having children and raising kids. And not to say that all white people are, and the thing is, not all white people are good parents. Not all white people are good. But guess what? They still have better outcomes as a group than black Americans. Black Americans will remain at the bottom if they do not do a self-correction and get a hold of some spiritual value system and have that as their priority, because they have no spiritual value, no moral values whatsoever. They're doomed to be at the bottom. That's where you're at. You're last. I don't care about no rappers and football and who playing ball and good. That's them people. That ain't blacks as a whole. It's about us. It's only one race, the human race. And we need to treat each other accordingly and not fall for this engineered division. And all look at the people who are behind it. Thank you, Kanye, for at least calling that out. He ain't said it like I just said it. He ain't come out and say that part like that. Who's behind engineering this anti-whiteism and white hate? But we have to hear people talk about hate speech and all this racism towards blacks, and I haven't seen what are we talking about here? Put your comments below, share the video, subscribe to my channel. If you like my content, you can hit me on my Cash App or hit on the links below, or go to my website and buy some of my merch from Rise Attire and get you the Kill-Aid, official Kill-Aid shirt there, or go to Teespring, the Axe Truth store over there, and get you some of the t-shirts or coffee cups, leggings, baby clothing from there if you want to support what I do. Everyone have a blessed day. Love you all.